This is YeahPete, and today I'm going to be working on a zero clearance insert and a splitter for my vintage Craftsman table saw. This is the piece that I'm going to be using as the splitter. It's just a piece of steel. It already came with 2 holes drilled. It was from a bed frame that I had, and I already used the grinder to grind it all down. And you can use any kind of L bracket. I just happen to have this laying around. Well, it hasn't been going too well. Last time I was trying to put the holes in, and I dulled every single one of my counter sink bits. What I'm gonna do is just try to use my Dremel, grind it down that way. I made it so that the screw is slightly beneath, just in case we get it a little bit off kilter, it still won't protrude out. Give it a good tracing. I sanded it until it pops right in there. Flip it over and you put a dot right where you want the finger hole. I drilled a bigger hole with a 3/4 inch Forstner bit. How I transferred the holes. So take a drill bit that just fits in the screw holes. Put the drill bit in the hole from the bottom. Put your insert in. And then I just spun the drill bit a couple times for the other side. Exactly where to drill that hole. Cut a slot, set this in here just like that. Then I take my piece and I set it in there, and then I line it up best I can right behind the blade. Put a dot right in the middle of them so I could pre-drill all the holes. We pre-drilled all 4 of those holes. Before I tighten any more, I'm going to go check it again. I checked it, it looked pretty good. I'm going to go check it again. Looks like I didn't even have to, since I have it so deep, I didn't even really have to countersink those screws. I don't want to poke myself on that. I'm going to take the grinder and grind those off. Now I cut these little pieces to fill in behind it. So we're going to glue those in place with wood glue. I filled this with wood glue and sawdust, and then these are the 2 strips that I added, and I went ahead and sanded it all down. I'm gonna measure this lip here and see how much on each side I have to take off. Go ahead and write that down. Now we'll do the top. I want to do my first cut at the farthest in and then work my way out from there so I don't have to keep measuring a bunch of times. So I'm just going to slide this to the edge of the blade so I can move it over 3/16. Now we're going to cut this front part off. I was going to use my table saw sled, but since I already have this blade depth set perfect, I think I'm just going to use my miter gauge and hope for the best. And we're at 1 1/8 right there. 1 1/8. Now I'm just going to cut these at right angles, about 1 inch. Sanded it around a little bit, and I finally got it to fit in there. Still, it's not perfect, I still have gaps, but I also noticed if you go really close, maybe right here, there's a slight lip here. I just slipped that in there, and now it feels perfect. I went ahead and sanded the whole thing. All we do is we can test it. Just slide a board past, see if you pitch on anything. You can see we have a nice solid steel bracket here. I mean, I'm putting about 20 pounds left and right, and that is pretty solid. This is not going anywhere. You can see we have a nice thick piece here to give it rigidity, and we have this lip here so that it can fit in the slot if you have that particular design. Even if you don't have that particular design, I do recommend having it thicker here. The type of material that I used was, I believe this is hickory. It's an extremely hard wood. If your particular table saw doesn't have the ability for screws, you'll put a notch on one side, and then what you could do is on the other side, to prevent it from lifting up, is you have a screw drilled in at an angle. There was a company who said they could build me a riving knife. They wanted $125, and I was like, no way. And while you're cutting the wood will come in a slot, and like I found out with this piece here, is the tension in the wood will close the wood on the blade while you're in the middle of cutting. Potentially it will grab the blade and it can shoot it out. With this piece here, you'll catch it before the wood closes. Safety is the main reason I wanted this, and they sold little kits and stuff, but man, those didn't feel as rigid. I mean, this is rigid. Well, that was kind of a bad idea. I kind of lost control of it there. So I'm guessing I'm going to do the rest with the table saw. Now that I'm finally done, I can talk about things that I would have done different if I have to do this again, which I probably will do it again eventually. Instead of countersinking these screws, I would just cut slits with the grinder. Just cut slits on each one. Just 2 slits where you can put 4 screws in the 2 slits. Then you can slide this piece I think I could epoxy this hole and then sand it smooth after I epoxy it. So then I won't have a dip. I don't think, nothing has gotten hung up on here yet. Other things I would try to do better, if you can look closely, you can see these little gaps. I just have to get better at that. Let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe. And I hope this helped you out if you have an old-fashioned table saw.